everyone, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where last time we took on our minor level 15 quest, and finally we have all classes caught up through their level 15 quest. Which means we are finally ready to begin making progress on the main story. From here on, through the rest of the game, we're going to have a nice, fairly regular progression where we're going to be constantly progressing main story, also making some progress on our class quests at the same time, but we're going to be making good progress on the story. For this section, we're going to be doing 2 story quests and then a class quest, and we're just going to alternate like that, so we get 4 story quests and 2 class quests done per week. So, we're going to be making good progress. Just depending on what part of the story we are and how the quests line up. Sometimes it'll be more like 1 story, then 1 class, or sometimes it'll be 2 class quests and then a story quest, but we're always going to be doing a mix of main story and class quests every single week for the rest of the game. I'm so excited. Alright then, today, Momodi, you have been waiting long enough, but I am finally ready to head into a copper hell. Momodi is waiting to brief you on your task. She's been waiting for so long. The petitioner ought to be arriving any moment now. Oh, they're still late somehow. Gods almighty, another second under that sun and I would have been set afire. A tankard of ale if you would be so kind. Excellent timing, Papa Sean. It just so happens that the adventurer who will be handling your petition is here. So this winsome lass is a much-lauded adventurer, is she? Marvelous, marvelous. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, milady. I am Papa Sean, formerly of the Sultan Sworn. I thank you for agreeing to lend us your aid. Mayhap you'd like to apprise Satora of her mission? Yes, of course. The petition in question was submitted by an acquaintance of mine at Amagina & Sons Mineral Concern. It relates to an unfortunate development at Copperbell Mines. To be plain, giants have seized control of the place. These giants are of the clan known as the Hecatonchires. Hecatonchires? Fearsome creatures who were sealed within the deepest depths of the mines during the bygone Thorn Dynasty. Alas, it seems they've managed to break through the layer of rock which served to imprison them and now prowl the tunnels where the miners ply their trade. The creatures are justifiably angry about their treatment at the hands of our ancestors, and their presence has forced the suspension of all mining activities on the site. It's no wonder they're angry. Didn't the Thorn Dynasty come to an end over 300 years ago, and they've been trapped down there? Yikes. You know your history well, milady. The people of that age used the Hecatonchires and worked their mines. By way of enchanted helms, you're able to bind the ferocious creatures to their will. But as is off the way of in such tales, these enchantments eventually failed and the slaves rose up against their masters. Good, as they should! In a desperate bid to contain the unbridled fury of the Hecatonchires, our ancestors induced the collapse of the mine's lowermost levels. So it was that the great giant revolt was ended, buried beneath 100,000 tons of rock. Well, now that's got me thinking. I seem to recall there being an article about Copperbell in the Mithril Eye a fortnight or so ago. Some of the mines were being reopened so as to meet the rising demand for building materials. Like as not, our boys dug a bit too deep and freed the giants. Gods, to think the poor creatures are still alive and kicking after 3 centuries. That's a long time to nurse a grudge. They must be seething. And again, rightfully so! Indeed, and that makes them a danger to us all. There will be no mining at Copperbell so long as they remain. For the sake of both peace and prosperity, they must be subdued. This is a task which we would have you undertake. I will not deny that the mission will be rife with danger, but our need is great, and so I beg you, put an end to this sorry business. I fucking hate Ul'dah! This country sucks! Gods bless you, I fear you might have reservations, but I assure you it is for the best. Oh, I have reservations. I have so many reservations. In case you don't know, Copperbell Mines are in Western Thanalan. Do take care, you hear? Ah, and one last thing before you depart. An employee of Amagina & Sons is presently at the quicksand. The fellow's name is Painted Mesa, and he knows the Copperbell Mines well. It may behoove you to seek his counsel. So to say that I absolutely despise the entire concept of this quest is an understatement. This is unfortunately not going to be the last time we have major fucking issues with what the game wants you to do. I promise there's a lot of good in this game, it just has a... Ul'dah specifically fucking sucks! Looking for Painted Mesa? You found him. So you're the adventurer who's volunteered to deal with the mess down in Copperbell, are you? You've got guts, miss. I just hope you've got skills to go with them, cause things ain't pretty down there. The Hecatan chairs have left the place in a right state, and nary a week after mining resumed. I don't know if this, I don't know if you know this, but Copperbell was old when the second Ul'dah dynasty was still young, and it was abandoned centuries ago. If it hadn't been for the shortage of materials needed for the rebuilding effort, the concern would never have thought to reopen it. We knew full well about the giants beforehand, but the project went ahead anyway. I mean, nothing could possibly survive being buried under a mountain's worth of rock for 3 centuries, right? Wrong. Our miners dug up more than they bargained for, one swing of the pickaxe too many, and they found themselves in a company of giants. Unless we can subdue them, the nation's glorious recovery will grind to a halt for want of aught to build with. The stone torches are keeping watch over the entrance in case the giants fancy some sunlight and fresh air. One of them will be able to show you the way in. The hope of the nation's resting on you, friend. Best of luck. Well, as much as it is plainly obvious that subdue is a very poor euphemism for what they intend us to do, let's just... I fucking hate this. I want to come up with an excuse for my conscience, but no, it's just fucking awful. It's... genuinely hate this. Alright, well then, today is our last tutorial dungeon. We'll be learning a bit more about how dungeons work. We're going to be going in as a tank, specifically as Gladiator, to learn how tanks operate in multiplayer combat. And yeah, this will be the last tutorial dungeon, and then we can finally move on with the actual story for this game. Alright. So, the Copperbell Mines, we've actually been there a few times before, for hunting logs and for mining. It's just going to be just up there across the bridge, as if we're going to Horizon, but veer off to the northeast. Copperbell Mines has actually changed significantly since the 6.1 update, I believe is when it changed. But I haven't actually done Copperbell Mines since well before then. So I don't know how it's changed. Well, I have an idea of how it's changed and what's changed, but Copperbell Mines is going to be almost completely new for me. Just because I know it had a significant overhaul. It was one of the more criticized early game dungeons, particularly because it introduced mechanics which then never really got used or stopped being used in the rest of the game beyond A Realm Reborn. So it ended up being a tutorial for things that don't exist, and the tutorial's a little bit tedious and unexplained, and a lot of new players would constantly get very confused. Yeah, the original Copperbell Mines was, I don't know, I personally liked it, but the criticism was not without warrant. There was definitely justified reason to not like Copperbell. So as part of the big adding single player effectively to every single main story dungeon and boss fight, as part of that big overhaul, they reworked Copperbell and several other missions and multiplayer duties in A Realm Reborn. I've heard some fantastic things about how the endgame has changed. I've seen a little bit of how the endgame has changed, but I haven't seen all of it, and I'm really excited. Alright then. I recognize you too. Hello, Eliane and Ul'dah. We found a dolorous bear and his entire party dead. Oh! The giants were thorough in their work. Judging by their tracks, it would seem they tried to rush a horde of the creatures. I cannot say for sure what drove an experienced crew like theirs to throw caution to the wind, but I do have my suspicions. We are all our own worst critics, and our desire to better past achievements can rob us of good sense. Thus do we become more given to recklessness. While it is important to have goals, one must not fixate upon them to the exclusion of all else. Do so, and one will surely pay the price, as Dolorous Bear and his comrades did this day. Ooh, I believe they were some of the people we were talking to before. Was Dolorous Bear the one who actually came up to us after Sastasha and said, "Aw, dang, you beat me to it"? Oh, that sucks. I have been an adventurer for long years and borne witness to many a pivotal moment in history. Though the times may have changed, the essence of our trade has not. Adventuring has ever been a quest for self-betterment through challenges freely faced, and ever shall it remain so. As an adventurer becomes more experienced, he will naturally acquire a love of justice and an understanding of the spirit of self-sacrifice. Such experience cannot be measured in any tangible way, yet it is most assuredly shapes who we are. Grounded as it is in the decisions we have made on our journey and their consequences, good or ill. I sense a light within you, young one, and it tells me you are destined for greatness. Yeah, that's assuming I can make it through this mission. Ugh. If this were real life, I'd just stab Papa Shot and run. Alright, so you're just security. Hello there, Stone Torch. There's been an incident inside Copperbell Mines. We're here to ensure that its effects are contained, but for your own safety, I suggest you stay well away from here. What? You're the adventurer who's volunteered to quell the Hecaton chairs? I didn't think that Papa Shan would be able to find someone so quickly, if at all. The giants are content to wreak havoc inside the mines for now, but it's only a matter of time before they think to come outside. The sooner you see to them, the better. Make ready as best you can and enter at will. Alright, before we head into Copperbell Mines, we will be talking to the smith. Because it is time for training. And the timestamp to skip to if you don't want to see this is on screen. Alright then, Hall of the Novice, let's begin with Tank Training Exercise 2. Execute a combo to increase enmity. I call it aggro, but fine, enmity. Listen up, Novice. I'm listening. When it comes to your place in a party, you're the wall of steel what takes the enemy hits. Soaking up the pain and keeping your mates safe, that's what you need to focus on most during battle. Enmity is a measure of how badly a foe wants to kill you, and it's your job to be at the top of every enemy's list. So for this exercise, you'll be learning about enmity and how to build it. Remember to bolster yourself with Iron Will before every battle. That'll get your foes to notice you nice and early. The best way to establish yourself as a threat, string together some nasty combinations. In your case, I'd start out with a Fast Blade and follow it up with a Riot Blade. Show me a solid series of blows and I'll consider your lesson learned. Are we clear? Let me know when you're ready to begin. I am indeed ready. Prepared to start then, are you? Of course, let's get going. So regarding Iron Will and your tank stances, normally you just need to apply your tank stance once, like when you switch to the class, and then you're good. You have your tank stance on basically forever at that point. You never need to worry about it again. The only time you need to worry about your tank stance coming off is if, and only if, you enter a level sync situation where your level goes down. If you enter a combat duty or fate out in the field where your level decreases, for example, here we went from 19 to 15 for the purpose of this training, that will actually deactivate your tank stance and you'll need to reapply it. I believe this has to do with if you get level synced down to a point where certain buffs are no longer even available for you. They want to make sure you don't keep those buffs where you shouldn't, but they really shouldn't apply to your tank stance. It's weird. Use that combination in battle and you'll build all the enmity you need. When faced with a single foe, it's the simple methods that are often the most effective. Here's your bonus for completing the exercise. Remember this training on the field of battle. Alright, there's one training down. What do we got next, Smith? Execute a combo in battle. Out of curiosity. Oh, it's not going to show any of the others. I was hoping we could see how many trainings there are. Oh well. Listen up, Novice. Do you recall how you built enmity in the last exercise? This time you'll be testing that combination on a proper opponent. I've said this before last, but it bears repeating. Your job is to soak up the pain and keep your mates safe. And you do that by directing the foe's enmity onto yourself. If your ally's still standing at the end of the fight, I'll count that as a win. Are we clear? Let me know when you're ready to begin. I am ready, just please talk faster. Only slightly faster though. Prepared to start then, are you? I am. Because some of those messages go by surprisingly quick. Alright, so we have an ally we need to protect, who I believe is the one on the right, and our opponent is on the left. Alright, you get over here. So, in battle, every single role is a DPS. DPS is a DPS. Healer is a DPS. Tank, also a DPS. Your job is to do damage. Lots and lots of damage. The only difference is that healers and tanks have an additional responsibility on top of that. But you should always be dealing damage. For healers, as we've said in the past, their additional role is, if your allies are starting to take a lot of damage, heal them to make sure they don't die. But if they're doing well, you do damage to the enemy. As a tank, your job is keep the enemies in one place, make sure all of them are fighting you, and then just do all the damage you can. You don't need to worry about anything else. If the enemies are focused on you and you're keeping them still so your allies can do all of their fancy combos and footwork, you're doing great. As you've seen, combinations are a fine way of building enmity. When a party is relying on you to take the hits, you need a reliable method for grabbing the enemy's attention. Here's your bonus for completing the exercise. Remember, this training's on the field of battle. Alright, got some new boots for our tanks. But yes, tanks, yeah, we're just, everyone just needs to do all the damage they can. Tanks also need to make sure the enemies are on them, and they're not moving around too much, so people like pugilists can do their fancy footwork to get their positional bonuses and whatever. Tanks do also need to manage how many enemies are being fought at a time. Sometimes other players will say, hey, you're not pulling enough enemies at once, so they'll pull them in for you. I'm not a fan of that, but I understand why. I would rather trust the tank to just know their own limits. Pull in as many enemies as you and your healer, especially as many as your healer can deal with, and then just fight all of those before moving on. We'll get into more strategies on pulls once we get into more dungeons. Next up, accrue enmity from multiple targets. Listen up, Novice. For this exercise, you'll learn how to build enmity with multiple foes. Have you ever tried using the Total Eclipse technique? It'll let you aggravate an entire group of enemies. Total Eclipse hits every bugger within a circle around you. Make sure you're positioned so you don't miss anyone. Are we clear? Let me know when you're ready to begin. So we're just learning how to use AoE abilities. Very, very good as a tank, especially for making sure you have all of the enemies on you if you're fighting multiple at once. Alright, training is now underway. Let's begin. Use your Total Eclipse technique to hit all 3 dummies at once. If you fail to carry out the instructions 5 times, you'll be starting the exercise over. Well, this'll be easy. There's 1. Oh, okay, they do despawn and respawn. 2. 3. What are you gonna pull next? 4? Where's number 5? Oh, that's rude. Oh, that is very spread. But that is good for teaching you about the distance you can actually hit enemies from. When facing multiple foes, it's all about positioning. Here's your bonus for completing the exercise. Remember this training on the field of battle. Alright. We've only got boots so far. There's gonna be... Okay. Engage multiple targets. How... We should be getting another several items of gear. Is there really gonna be that many tank trainings? Listen up, Novice. For this exercise, you'll be training against multiple opponents. Use Total Eclipse to gain enmity with a group, just like you practice, but be sure that the enemy's only interested in hitting you. Defeat every enemy on the field and I'll consider your lesson learned. Are we clear? Let me know when you're ready to begin. Let's do it. Okay, we got an ally on our right, 3 enemies in front. Once you've got the situation under control, you can start using combinations, but I believe with 3 enemies, I believe it is more effective in terms of damage output to use. Just keep using Total Eclipse. Because I believe the total potency against 3 enemies is greater than just using your combos. I'll check that afterwards, actually. Right now, we're getting our asses kicked. Okay, down to 2. Now it would be more effective to go solo. Oh, I forgot to use Fight or Flight, my bad. Could also use Rampart. Use your goddamn mitigations tank. That's me. I'm the tank who's not using mitigations. And that concludes the exercise. Alright, I do want to check real quick. Total Eclipse is 100, so 300 against 3 enemies. And these are at best 230, 330. That still averages out over all 3 of them. So yeah, with 3 or more enemies, Total Eclipse is just better. Do you see how fighting a group calls for a different technique? If you want to be at your most effective, you need to switch your tactics to meet the situation. Here's your bonus for completing the exercise. Remember this training on the field of battle. There we go, there's the pants. Now I believe we just need shirt, gloves, and a hat, and that should be it. Really? What we have is apparently better. I don't believe you. I do not believe you. Defenses are the same. I lose a determination? Wow, okay. The brand new boots are actually somehow as good as or slightly better. I'm amazed. Next up, execute a ranged attack to increase enmity. Listen up, Novice. We're going to be learning about shield lob, aren't we? For this exercise, you'll learn to establish enmity with a ranged attack. In your battle, your enemies won't care not for fair. Stroll into a pack of foes and your ass can get swarmed. And your shield lob technique will be the tool for the job. Rather than blunder into a mob of nasties, you're better off pulling a few at a time from a safe distance. Defeat every enemy on the field and I'll consider your lesson learned. Are we clear? Let me know when you're ready to begin. Oh, I am ready. So yeah, we can use Shield Lob to start battles by pulling in 1 enemy at a time if we wish. Or just pulling a whole pack by hitting them from afar as you're rushing in to meet them. Don't get too close. You don't want to fight them all at once. I guess this healer ain't exactly cut out for 6 at once at this point. Once we get to higher levels, it'll be far easier for healers to keep up with large groups of enemies. Alright, there's one training automaton done. The healer is barely doing anything, so you know what? Nah, hold on. I know you say the rest of the mob's seen me, but very clearly the jackals are still standing over there. I'm feeling confident. Let's go for it. Hey healer, how's it going? Hey healer, am I being punished? Okay, you were just waiting for me to get really low on health. I understand. You're trying to make me panic as punishment for being overconfident. I get it. Please don't be a jerk, healer. And we are clear. You see how easy it was to split up that big nasty mob? The situation don't always allow it, but there's a better strategy than charge. Here's your bonus for completing the exercise. Remember this training on the field of battle. Really? No gear again? What the heck? How many trainings are there going to be? Alright, exercise 7. Engage enemy reinforcements. Listen up, Novice! For this exercise, you'll learn to deal with reinforcements. Sometimes there's latecomers to a battle, so you've got to stay alert. If you notice a new foe arrive, don't give in to panic. Keep calm and pick up the enemy with your usual tools. Are they too far away for a combination? Then reel them in with a shield lob. Once you've got everyone nice and close, you can switch to Total Eclipse to keep that enmity flowing. Defeat every enemy on the field, and I'll consider your lesson learned. Are we clear? Let me know when you're ready to begin. Of course, let's do this. Even if these trainings aren't completely comprehensive on how the community typically plays, they do a pretty good job of covering everything. Alright, so you're gonna call in reinforcements. I gotta keep an eye on that. New enemy? Where are you? Where are you? Right there. Excuse you, I just bopped you with my shield. Shit. That was my bad. I need to change one of my settings, apparently. I have it set up so that L2 R2 is different from R2 L2. That's causing me problems. I need to fix that. I'll lose 8 hotbar slots, but I don't use them, so it's fine. I guess I could use this set for items, but nah. Shit, actually, that would be a good idea. Rounding up reinforcements ain't so hard, eh? Here's your bonus for completing the exercise. Remember this training on the field of battle. There's the shirts. Alright, what do we have next? Oh! We're done! That's it! Alright then, we're free! Give me a couple of minutes. those trainings actually did take a little bit longer than I expected. And I will be right back. And we can take on Copperbell. Alright, I am back. Let's head into Copperbell Mines and take care of this. I don't want to. I fucking hate Ul'dah, and this mission, it's awful, it's terrible. Let's go and get it out of the way. I am very excited to see what the new Copperbell Mines is like. Before we head in too far, let's go ahead and make sure we've consumed some food. Let's see. Grilled trout's next on the list. Plus 2 vitality, plus 1 critical hit, plus 4 direct hit rate. That's not bad. Alright, let's see. New Copperbell Mines. Starting out, we got a Spriggan and a couple of Koblins. So, I mean, obviously there's not a lot of opportunity for change yet, but so far it's literally identical. Alright, 1 Koblin down, onto the Spriggan. I might actually want to put copies of Fighter, Flight, and Rampart on the back AoE hotbar. That might be a good idea. I don't know how many things I need to put on that back hotbar, so we'll see eventually if that's good. But for now, we're looking for Fighter Flight. Want to put it there. And Rampart would be in roll. We'll put it there. There we go. Now we have access to those while we're doing AoEs. Alright, with that Q we picked up, let's open the door and take the lift. What are you all... Okay, bye! Have fun! They're supposed to come with me into the elevator, but... Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I was getting a little bit worried there. Alright, hello there, Spriggan. Let's see. So as a tank, one of the main ways it's recommended to fight, or that the community really likes to fight, is it's typically considered a good idea to just pull as many enemies as you can at once. Up to the limit of however many your healer will be able to actually heal you through. Pull too many enemies, and no matter how good your healer is, they won't be able to keep up. But with a good, well-stocked, and very ready healer, you can do what's known as a wall-to-wall pull, where you grab every single enemy between you and whatever your destination is, or whatever the next wall is. The game will often put walls like the door earlier, where we needed a key to open it, to prevent you from advancing too far without doing mechanics. Literally just pulling every enemy between you and that next wall is very, very common among higher level tanks. And impatient tanks. Hi, Hecaton Chair. I genuinely don't want to fight you. I'm so sorry. I fucking hate this. Thank God it's just a fucking video game, but it's still disgusting. Literally having you put down a revolt of enslaved people, effectively. Horrendous. Why did they think that was a good idea? They try to make it sound like the Hecaton chairs are just, oh, completely mindless with rage at this point, but of course they're gonna be pissed. I don't know why they thought that was even remotely acceptable, and I hate it. Most of the rest of the game is a lot better than this. It just... I will say that this problem with Ul'dah and the other two nation states does get criticized by the game itself pretty heavily. So the game isn't necessarily agreeing with this shit they're having us do, but God, it sure doesn't feel like they're criticizing it enough yet. We'll push through. I'll try not to complain too much more. I've made it clear how my opinion falls. Alright, got another Spriggan over here. Grab you. And you're the only enemy we've got, so let's keep moving. Grab some more. Nice thing about playing as tank when you're doing the single player mode with the Eager Lancer, Conjurer, and Thaumaturge. Nice little benefit of playing tank is you actually get to control how you progress, because if you're not playing as a tank, whoever the NPC tank is will not do big pulls like this. They'll just find a set of enemies and then stay there to attack them, which is so exceedingly slow when you are, as a healer, especially if you're playing as a healer and are more than capable of keeping your tank alive. Okay, down to just 2. So far, it's basically identical. There hasn't been a whole bunch of changes yet. I haven't noticed anything too different. It does feel like there's a slightly fewer enemies around for some reason. Not sure why they would have reduced the number of enemies in this area. Actually, you know what? There is one big difference. In the original Copperbell Mine, there was a pile of explosive sand on that elevator I'm looking at right now. We don't need to pick that up anymore. There was another one in here, and another one in here, and now there's just the one. Yeah, it used to be 2 ons, pinches, and oh, crap. There we go. Shoot, was it 12 ounces? Yeah, actually, that makes sense. I think it was... It's been a while since I've done Copperbell. It was 12 ounces. You got 3 sets of 4 ounce packs. One on the elevator, one in that room, one in this room. Alright, and with the way clear, this is the first actual major change. This room used to have a major enemy rush, I suppose? Oh, hello, Tank Buster! Okay, let's talk about that icon first. That is known as a Tank Buster. When those appear, those are very powerful attacks that your enemy is about to use in order to attempt to kick the tank's ass. Very specifically, the tank's ass. This is just a AoE chain, which is... God, when did I start doing those? They started introducing them in, like, around Stormblood, I want to say, but they brought them back to A Realm Reborn to teach them earlier, I guess, especially because this one wasn't too bad. Just 3 big circles you need to move between or not stand in as they're about to go off. When you get a chain of AoEs like that, the timing between them spawning is the same as the timing between them hitting, so... Yeah, we've got about 2 seconds or so between each hit, so just make sure we're not in each circle as it's about to go off. But yeah, originally this fight was a series of just an endless swarm of Spriggans, and I think maybe a few Koblins. I mostly remember the Spriggans just running out of everywhere. They came out of a tunnel up there, where that lantern is between the arms. Hello, Tank Buster! God, I'm still surprised that they added this so early in the game. But yeah, all the enemies would basically come out of there, someone climb up the cliff over there. And you just have to keep fighting through them very, very slowly until eventually Kotos appears, and then you take him down. It was a really slow fight. A lot of players, if you did ranged combat, if you were a healer, if you were a tank, you basically had nothing to do. You could kill them in one hit, especially as a DPS, so... The fight was just not balanced well. Most players didn't get to do anything, because enemies died too fast. The Tank Buster, those big attacks that enemies love to... Oh, we already have one, so we don't need it. Perfect. But yeah, those tank busters, big attacks that enemies use to try and screw over a tank. There are a few ways to mitigate them. 1, use your mitigations like Rampart. 2, have your healers be ready when they see a tank buster coming up to heal you as soon as they see them happening. Ooh. Now that we're level 20, we got a bunch more gear. Ooh, that looks a lot better. And you're not coming in the elevator. Got it. But yeah, healers can prepare by putting up shields or getting ready to heal you. You can prepare by putting up your own defenses like ramparts. And when you see a tank buster coming up, you gotta get prepared because they are typically gonna be painful. Okay, let's see. This area seems to be basically the same. We got a blasting cap over here with an errant soul. I believe we just need to fight the blasting cap. Because yes, the blasting cap drops a 6-ounce pinch of fire sand, and we're gonna be using that. Hello there, treasure coffer. What do you have? Foe Striker's Mitts? I don't believe that's gonna be for us. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be for DPS. Still good to have. Next up, we have another blasting cap over here, which will drop the other thing we need, the other fire sand. And we have a limit break ready. I'm curious if any of our characters are going to be using it. I'm pretty sure I have talked about limit breaks in the past, probably in Tamtara. But just to be sure, let's go over them again since we're in the tutorial dungeons, especially since we're a bit earlier in the dungeon, just so I can be sure I've talked about them. Each of the roles has its own limit break. Limit breaks are for DPS, do massive damage. Melee DPS does massive damage to one enemy. Magic DPS does massive damage to enemies in a circle. And range DPS does massive damage to enemies in a line. Healers, their limit break is to heal everyone, and at higher levels of limit break, revive everyone, which is very nice. And for tanks, their limit break is to basically put up a giant shield that protects everyone in the party for a certain percentage of damage. Very useful in certain mechanics where enemies are about to really ruin your day. There is one shared limit break gauge that charges up over time. And the number of gauges you actually have, and therefore the level you can use. Okay, Magic DPS is using our limit break. But yeah, the level of limit break you can use, the number of limit break bars you have, depends on the exact circumstances you're in. I'll get into that after this fight, because this fight is way different from before. What used to be the case with this fight is, this fight was a mess. It was supposed to teach about mid-combat mechanics. And it didn't necessarily do the best job of that. So the Icarus Ire, no one could hurt it. It was invincible. There was no way to damage it. What there was, I believe there was a powder keg? Yeah, there was a switch that dropped the powder keg, and you brought the powder keg... you got the powder keg ready to explode, and then brought the Icarus Ire over to it. It would explode and split the Icarus Ire into multiple parts, and you would keep going until the parts were small enough that you could actually start doing damage. It was a very, very slow fight, because it was basically just tank distracts, and then one of the other 3 party members gets the bombs. This is far better. There was also a Spriggan that would keep coming in to try and specifically try to steal the powder keg, I believe it was. Again, it's been a while since I did Copperbell, and it's been a while since Copperbell changed. But it was certainly one of the very slow fights. Right, my mistake. It wasn't powder keg, it was a bomb enemy. One of those bomb enemies. You would lure it over to the Icarus Ire, it would explode, and that would split up the Icarus Ire. Unfortunately, new players didn't know you needed to use the bomb to explode the Icarus Ire. So what new players would do is new players would kill the bombs. To everyone's fury, because, oh good, now we have to take another very slow cycle of getting a bomb to spawn. Meanwhile, the Spriggan's trying to screw with the bomb. It was not the most pleasant fight. Alright, over here we've got a few directions we can... Oh, hi! We've got a few directions we can go. There is a slightly faster route if we head down through this canyon on the right, but the intended route is to the left. They basically both go to the same place, though. Though the enemy distribution definitely seems to have changed a little bit. Alright, they're done. Let's head through this path. Yeah, I remember there being living fossils on this route, but not that many. Okay, let's drag you all out here. And we'll head over this way because I believe there should be, yes, treasure coffer. Alright, 5 enemies at once. I think we can handle this. Yep, our healer is doing a great job. And with 2 of the living fossils down, this just got a lot easier. But yeah, the intended path is to go down the normal way and then come around the corner here. For parties that are trying to just rush through the dungeons, I'll usually take the narrower path, grab a huge pull of enemies, and just keep moving. Hello there, treasure coffer. Already have a plundered geese arm. Fair enough. Have I picked up anything new I can equip? No. Alright, here we go. Pit Hippoceras and another Hecaton chair. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, Hippoceras done. Now we can focus on you. If I just run off, my party members will probably kill it. Dang it. I wanted to see if it would leave me alone after a little bit. More gear that we can't grab. And we are coming up on the end. So yeah, the only things that really seem to have changed significantly are that first bomb, that first powder keg, we needed less powder sand or fire sand. And then both of the mini bosses changed. Slaves no more. Free! Free! Masters must pay. Masters must die. Never again. Never! Yeah, I don't blame you, sir. I would love to help you escape, but... Oh, right. New thing as of 6.2. Sometimes your party members will actually talk. But yeah, hello, Gyges the Great. I'm so sorry about this. I fucking hate it. Alright, this fight has changed significantly. This arena is completely different. You did not have this attack before. Gigantic Swing is a gigantic swing. You just stand really close to him and he'll miss you entirely. It used to be that at a certain point, he would run off into a corner and start trying to break down walls. And once those walls break down, he actually frees more Hecaton chairs to come after you. Those Hecaton chairs would then go on to try and free other Hecaton chairs from more walls, but Gyges went down so fast that it was better to just ignore them. You could kill him before they even got to you. It was a little bit ridiculous. I'm glad they rebalanced the fight. I wish they would rebalance the story to be a little bit more explicitly critical of this, but... Alright, stay away from that gigantic smash. Looks like rocks will come down afterwards. And we've got a limit break. Who is going to use it? Lancer? Thaumaturge? Either one of you? Lancer, you go for the limit break, because I'm a tank. Mine just reduces the damage we take for a little bit. Not really useful here. Oh, they're totally going to save it in hopes of getting a limit break too. Damn it. But yeah, oh right, I need to talk about how you actually build up limit break bars, or how the number of bars is determined. I believe the general rule is, if you are in a dungeon, you have 1 limit break bar. If you're at the boss of a dungeon, it is 2. And if you're in a trial, so like a boss fight, that'll be 3. Like an independent boss fight, that is. But yeah, we did it. We finished Copperbell. Now let's get out of here and never do this again, because fuck this. The dungeon's far better. Oh my god, it is so much improved. Just those 4 spots that I changed are so much better, but... Oh, I've made my opinions clear. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Alright, let's return to Painted Mesa, report in that we've done a horrible thing. Dang, we completed that in enough time that our food's still up. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Dungeons typically are only about 20 minutes. Especially if... Okay, I forgot about that. I forgot that we have a fight here. Amazing. I completely forgot about that somehow. But yeah, dungeons are usually only around 20-ish minutes. Faster if you have a good party. You can get down to like 10 or 15, but you have to be speeding to get through that fast. Alright, Painted Mesa, I have finished the deed. Ah, the Conqueror of Copperbell returns. Thanks to you, our mining operations can resume, and Ul'dah will have the materials she needs to rebuild. The entire nation's in your debt, friend. I'll share the good tidings with Papa Shan the next time I see him. As for you, you'll want to report to Momodi. It'll do the woman well to see you alive and in one piece. No! Shut your mouth, you thieving little swine. You stole from me. Don't even think to deny it. Please, sir, I didn't steal nothing. I bought this, paid for it with me own coin. What rot? You refugees are all the same. Couldn't afford maggoty mole meat, much less a choice cut of dodo. I'm going to say it one more time. Give back what you stole, or I'll make you wish you'd never set foot in this town. By rights, I should turn you over to the brass blades, you know. Help keep the streets safe for law-abiding citizens. But I'm a reasonable man if you agree to serve me in whatever capacity I require. The authorities needn't hear of your crime. Kill him. I'm going to murder this man. What a scumbag. Have I mentioned I hate Ul'dah? This place is full of truly terrible people. And then there's the refugees just trying to survive. But I ain't done nothing wrong. 12 is me witness. Please, adventure, help me, I beg ye. I swear on me mother's grave, I didn't steal nothing. I bought this with the coin I'd saved. I only wanted to treat me children to a decent meal. And who the hell are you when you're at home? This dog's master? I've had enough of this mummer's farce. You lot, teach them a lesson. Honestly, even if she did steal, what did she steal? Food? Yeah, no, fuck you. That's not worthy of any sort of reprisal, like, at all in the first place. And what you want is just absolutely disgusting. Alright, let's take you down. I believe reprisal, let's check what that does real quick. Reduces damage dealt to, by nearby enemies by 10%. Nice, so it's additional mitigation on top of Rampart. Alright, looks like we got their friends coming in. Alright, fine. You all want to die? You all get to die. Oh, this is pathetic. Down goes all of you. And not even the guard stepped in to help. They just backed away when she looked at them. Shameful. Fuck the brass blades. I ain't getting paid enough for this. Hey, where the hell do you think you're going? Thank you, kind adventure. Thank you thrice over. I'd swear there were more refugees than when last I looked. And you wouldn't be mistaken. But it's been 5 years since the calamity. Why are they only coming here now? It's simple, really. While a number of hamlets survived the immediate aftermath of the calamity, many were no longer able to support their communities. The residents found their lands had either been rendered barren or cut off from trade routes, and problems like those aren't easily solved. Though they tried to make the best of it, it was only a matter of time before they were forced to abandon their homes and seek a new life in the city. I see. But the calamity affected the whole realm, didn't it? Is the same thing happening in the other cities? If the talk is true, yes. Though perhaps our situation is more pronounced. Ul'dah has a reputation for being prosperous, so it's natural that the refugees would try their luck here first. My heart goes out to them, it truly does, but I would be lying if I said that I wasn't apprehensive. I hope their presence doesn't foment lawlessness in the city. Well, if things do take a turn for the worse, we always have the immortal flames. I dare say the brass blades would welcome their help. The heroes who fought the Garlean Empire patrolling the streets for riffraff. It may well come to that. Impoverished and desperate as they are, you may be sure that some of the refugees will turn to crime. You know what this place is like. If you've no coin, you've no hope. What will become of our city? Not all refugees are bad, mind you. Some are able to find employment and lead honest lives. You just said many have no choice! You just said they have no choice, and then you label those people as bad! Fuck you! I hate this city so fucking much, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. Fuck! Oh my god, they're so awful! Dodo Tenderloins, get your Dodo Tenderloins, guaranteed cheapest in Thanalan. Thank you for your custom, madam. Please come again. Looking around, you'd think that Ul'dah was well on its way to recovery. But peer through the veil of prosperity and you'll see no end to the misery and suffering. Madam, are you alright? Yes, I had a really weird headache and I saw you buying it, so I know you didn't steal it. What now? You mean to threaten a defenseless citizen? You don't mean to threaten a defenseless citizen. You did threaten a defenseless citizen. What? Saw her buy that meat, you say? That's absurd. Aye, as did I. Leave the poor woman alone, you damnable vulture. Who said that? Wait, is this... Oh, I used the wrong voice if that's... Oh, no, no! You can see her in the background. It's not who I thought it was. Ayashola, what are you doing back there? I will overlook this, but just this once. Oh, that's so funny. She's just standing behind the fucking statue over there, or the signpost over there, just taunting him. God bless you, adventurer. If you hadn't come along when you did, who knows what that monster might have done. You don't bear thinking about. Fuck, that was funny. That was really funny to just notice her back there. Ever the selfless hero, I see. It has been a while, adventure. I've been watching you closely ever since you flew out of Limsa. You discharged your duty as the Admiral's personal envoy with admirable humility, and you have displayed unfaltering courage in the face of danger ever since. Whensoever you came upon those in need, you gave them succor with no thought of personal gain. In summary, you have demonstrated all the qualities we seek in an adventurer. For reasons I cannot well explain, your every deed seems invariably to serve the general good, whether you mean it to or not. It is a happy knack, and one which speaks volumes for your character. Yet, for all your admirable qualities, it is your gift which intrigues me most. I speak of the visions you experience, visions like the one you had mere moments ago, if I am not mistaken. I can provide you with a means to understand them. An acquaintance of mine is blessed with the selfsame talent, you see. If you so desire, I can introduce you to her. She and I fight for a common cause, a cause which would greatly benefit for your support. If you would agree to lend us your strength, we should be glad to do all within our power to aid you in your personal endeavors. Think of my offer a while. Should you decide to accept it, pray speak with Momodi. The proprietress of the Quicksand is a close friend and ally of ours. Inform her that you have been chosen by the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, and she will tell you where to find us. Yo, I'm so fucking excited. The Scions, here we go! The best fucking characters. Alright, Momodi, I've had a wild time today. I think I'm gonna take a nap, and then also I was invited to join the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Scenes like that are becoming ever more common, I'm afraid. Don't worry though, if you work hard, you'll probably be alright. Saying that, if you ever find yourself in a spot of bother, come and see me. Just don't go pestering me every time you graze your knee, eh? Of course, I do enjoy hearing tell of a gentleman's woes from with the women folk from time to time. Is this just the speech you give every new adventurer, Momodi? Ah, Satora, sorry to keep you waiting. I was just providing guidance to a fresh-off-the-carriage adventure. But gods, it's good to see you safe and well. To look at you, no one would ever guess you'd been hard at it with giants in the dark. You're every only adventurer Mion said you'd be, Satora. The station master will be overjoyed when he hears the news. Oh, before I forget, there's a lass here who wants a word with you. Didn't actually know your name, but hearing her description, I knew who she meant right away. Oh! Etta! Thank you for sparing the time. I realize you don't know me, but I've been longing to speak with you for a while now. No, I've spoken with you in the past, I believe outside of Sastasha. I heard your husband? Fiancé? Died? My name is Etta. I'm an adventurer like you, though I'm not very good at being one, if truth be told. Anyway, I was adventuring with my friends in Gridania when I'm sorry, we were in Gridania when the leader of our party was killed. His name was Aver, and he and I were to be wed in the spring. You may not remember him, but to say that he remembered you would be an understatement. He would sing your praises from dawn to dusk. He saw you for what you are, you see. An adventurer's adventure, and swore that he would be like you one day. I'm only just getting started myself. I can't have that much of a reputation, can I? I believe that he would have succeeded had a fiend not robbed him of the chance. Since that day, I've thought long and hard about giving up adventuring. But when I think of the woman you are, of all that you've achieved, I find that I'm inspired just as Avera once was. And so I've decided to start again as an adventurer. I'll go back to the village of my birth and begin my training anew. But I wanted to meet you first, to ask you your name. Satora Lancy, I shan't forget. Thank you, Satora Lancy. I pray that we will meet again. Fare you well. Adventuring can be a cruel, bleeding business. Time was, I didn't know why anyone would bother. When they first asked me to take charge of the guild here, I didn't want aught to do with you lot. Thought it'd be a right pain in the arse looking after y'all. But against my better judgment, I decided to accept the post, and I'm full glad I did. I feel privileged to be part of your lives. And that goes double for yours, Satora. What did you say? You want to know about the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? They're beginning to move in earnest, then. Listen, Satora, the Scions ain't no ordinary folk, and the work they do ain't no ordinary work. I know full well how capable you are, but even you would think twice about attempting some of the stuff they do. Knowing that, if you're still certain you want to get involved, I'll tell you what I can. Alright then. Next time on Final Fantasy XIV, we join the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I'll see everyone next time for that.